All right, fellow Vikings, welcome back this time. Just another update. Okay, so Wednesday I had a video come out and it had a great response. I'm kind of overwhelmed right now because today is Wednesday for me, and I felt like I should get out here and do this while it's still fresh in my mind. And you know the clouds just parted and it's beautiful out, so why not, right? Um, but you guys are fantastic. I can't say that enough. The way you guys all like share stories and like the little things in your life that mean a lot to you and all that kind of stuff, that really like me. All day today I've been smiling. Like, you guys are fantastic. But what really I want to talk about in this video is the garden. All right, so I kind of went a little overboard this year. um, just a little bit. I don't know if you can see. Okay, that little area right there, there is over 100 corn plants, and or say we planted around 100 200 corn kernel seed dudes in the thing, and they're starting to come up. I'm gonna have to thin it out, of course, but I'm kind of liking the idea of having 100 things of corn right here. But at the same time, I also planted like 200 what is it, soybeans, right there, and inside of here, and kind of went a little crazy with it because I don't know if you guys know this, but soy is an awesome crop, right? There's a product on the market called TVP. It's textured vegetable protein. Those are the words, right? And it's not just for vegans. Like, I really hope my vegan sister watches this, because when I use it, I cook some meat and I add the TVP into it, and it means that the amount of meat that's there is like almost doubled. Right, and when I say meat, it tends to be ground meat because it's got a very gritty ground meat texture. I've used it in meatloaf. I've used it in burritos and stuff like that. I use it in burritos a lot with my ground beef. It literally, it soaks up all of the juices, like all of the fat and all that, and it takes on the flavor of whatever meat that you're cooking with. I'm gonna have to do a different video on that. But TVP is awesome, and all it is literally just, you know, tofu that's been dehydrated, and then it it's got these other properties that are so cool, you know. And tofu is made out of soybeans, so the more soybeans I have, the further I can make my meat last, right? Not only that, but soybeans themselves are good just to, you know, eat, you know. When you eat them when they're young, they're delicious. Like, just steam them, they're good, you know. So we have a good 200 soy plants that should be coming up in this general area over here, and yeah, I'm going crazy with it this year. I want to make sure that my family's fed. I want to make sure that I'm not having to spend as much on money because I'm a cheapskate, and money is kind of short for all of us. So yeah, I want to make it go as far as possible. Let's see, what else did I plant out? In this first bed right here, that one, that one right there, right? I put more soybeans in there. There's a perennial kale that I found from Oregon that is it's fantastic. It gets large, it's beautiful. Some of the plants will change colors and get a little bit of burgundy in there, a little bit of maroon. It'll get striped up with little pieces of pink. You know, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful kale. And you only have to plant it once every few years. All right. So, I mean, to me, that's kind of a big deal. All right. But also, in between the kale plants, I put a couple soybeans because I went so crazy. And what are those things called? They're delicious. What are they called? I love them. I love pickling them. right? I love making their husks into like like tortillas. What is it called? Um, why am I blanking this? I got like sand brain or something going on. What do you call it? Okra. That's what it's called. Okra. All right. Okra is awesome. All right. There's so many uses for okra, but in between a lot of my plants, I put okra in there, just for it to, be there in between the plants because it's not going to fight. And you never want a monoculture, right? The more you diversify, the more you intermingle stuff, the less likely bugs are going to go from one plant to the other, right? Because they're not all bunched up together, right, in the same kind of plant. Like you might have one sacrificial plant here and one sacrificial plant there, but it's not going to spread very much. So that's why I did it like that, with having like everything that I have everywhere around, spread out. But yeah, okra. Okra is so cool. Okay, so I've taken the larger pods with the big seeds in there that haven't gotten dark yet, that are still green, and I've pickled those, kind of like making peas, right? And they end up having the texture of a pea with a little bit more snap to it, all right? That's really cool. That's really good. I've also taken the husks and dried the husks out. Like when they get really, really big, and I take the seeds, all right, you dry the husks out, you grind those up, and like you use it like you normally would with flour and all that to make whatever you're gonna make. But it's what do you call it? Celiac people can eat it. I forget what the word is, but it's non-leaven, so it doesn't fluff up like for breads. So it's good for flat breads like tortillas. So if you're using it in that context or in that application, fantastic. I'm gonna have to do another video on that this fall when I have a whole bunch of it and we're making tortillas and stuff. Yeah, that would be a good video later. But yeah, there's challenges going on with who can grow the biggest plants and all that. I don't care. I want to eat the food. I mean, challenges are cool, but those are like more so gimmicks for people to get more views on their channel and get their name put in, or their video put into a playlist and get more subscribers, which is really cool, right? That's a great way of doing things and getting your name out there and all that. But I mean, I'm not going to do that. Like, I'm going to be realistic. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to eat my food and I'm going to be fat and happy, because I mean, I'm fat and I want to be happy. But let's see. We've also, if I walk over here, over this direction that I'm walking, yeah, right. Okay, so this right here was put in place for the colds because it got really cold for a few days and I'm lazy. So I didn't put it away. Didn't bother. I'm like, if it happens again, I don't want to have to disassemble it and reassemble it and all that crap. So I left it there. But as you can see, I got a whole bunch of plants all over the place over here. And it's overgrown, right? It's kind of a pain to get out here with my knife and some scissors and cut it out. So I'm going to get a weed whacker. And the one I chose for a very specific reason. And I'm going to be doing a video on that later. If I like the machine, whether I like the machine or not, all right, I'm going to do a video on it because I'm not seeing like that kind of a thing going on in this kind of an application. All right, and it's made for people like me. All right. Yeah, I know that's crazy teaser. You're like, what's going on? What is it? But yeah, I'm gonna do a video on that once it gets here. It's supposed to be here next month sometime. Yeah, everything takes forever to ship. But yeah, so that's a thing that's happening. All right, but let's see. I have up here zucchini. All right, that's 2 zucchini plants right there. And in between them, I have some basil, all right? And the basil's doing so-so. It's doing all right. All right, I have another zucchini plant up here in the front. I'm going to have to manually fertilize that one because it's just not close enough. There's some other ones in between there that passed on, that died and didn't do well. But that's the thing. It happens, It got cold. Things happen. But yeah, so I have those zucchinis right there, and they're already flowering, so I'm hoping to have some fresh zucchini soon. I still haven't taken much like veg nutrition from my garden yet, which really it's bugging me. Like living an agrarian life and having an agrarian diet where you eat whatever's in season means winter, late winter and early fall or early spring. There's a lot of meat. That's the majority of it, and I have high cholesterol, so that's not good. But yeah, no, the right now there's not much that's big enough in season for me to be sustained on. So I'm having to eat a lot of meat still. And that's why I'm going big with the veg this year, because I want to push it as far throughout the season as I could. Yesterday I ate our last squash. It actually, I'm actually impressed with our squash from last year. They survived and they did fine. I hung them in my what do you call the utility room over my batteries actually, and they did fine. I took the seeds from it. I've planted, like, some of the seeds in there were already sprouted, so I planted them inside the beds and all that. Yeah, my peppers, some of my peppers kind of died a little bit. A bunch of them are still there. They're doing fine. Yeah, look at all this mess. Whew. Whole bunch of construction projects going on over here, huh? Yeah, most of that was I don't know if you see. Let's see. Let's flip around. All right, so I built the deck and I painted that deck right there. There you go. All right, and that pink stuff right there is the insulation from this back wall. Right, I had to get into that back wall in an emergency because there was water spraying inside my shower, inside of the wall, and it's raining. And so all of that insulation has been pulled out and just stuffed under there, so that when I build the outside thing, I just put that insulation inside of the walls, and we're good to go. What else is that junk? There's a stovepipe right there, stovepipe for my wood cook stove, and I need to get all of that hooked up again, because right now the normal wood stove's hooked up, but the wood cook stove isn't. But I mean, it's hot, so it really doesn't matter. But we have a bunch of the piping under there in storage. Then there's, let's see, the old generator that my dad overfilled. That's a good story. He overfilled with oil and it blew up and it died, and no more worky. Yeah. So that was a bad little time right there. Blowing up generators. And then my dad came home with a what do you call that? That's a compressor, and the compressor just doesn't work. Oh well. Yeah, that's life, right? Yeah, things happen. You know, what are we gonna do about it? We're gonna repurpose it. That's what we're gonna do about it. We're gonna repurpose it into something else. Honestly, I wish I lived next to a creek or something, because I wanna make a ram pump so bad, because they're so cool, right? And I think a compressor tank would make a really cool looking ram pump on the pressure part. That if you don't know what a ram pump is, then this is just gibberish right now. And I'm rambling again, and the sun's going down, the goats are whining. So I'm gonna finish this up, and I'll see you later, guys.